to another show of Don't Get This Twisted. I am Rob, along with my co-host as always, Tina. How you doing, Tina?
I'm hanging in there, Rob. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
We made it to another one.
That we have.
Who knew?
I mean, very wet, but we're definitely made it. Horrible.
And the rain went on for long enough to where I was going crazy, like getting cabin fever and cooking like way too much because I'm just sitting here and everybody was asking for food and different things, you know, when they would stop by. So I felt like I was grounded almost.
Mm-hmm.
And when I woke up today and I saw the sun, I was like, hell yeah, I'm back.
Oh, you have sun?
We have, yeah. It's coming through my window behind me.
I don't have sun.
Oh, really?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's balls and wieners.
Yeah. No sun for me, Dr. Jones.
Oh.
Yeah.
I needed it. There's been so much going on, and I needed a win today. So the sun popping through my window was the one I was going to take because that was the only win there to take. So
that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Mine says no sun till Wednesday.
What?
Yeah, but
so
no
do
rain.
We need a Chi-Chi's run or something? Get the hell out of there. See some sun.
Right? That sounds good, actually.
Right? I'm in.
But hey, 10 days. We have 10 days of no rain, so let's just be happy about that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I am so sorry. That is my alarm, and I don't know why it's on right now.
Yeah.
That's how I wake up in the morning.
Maybe to remind you that we were supposed to do this in 45 minutes.
You know what? It was to get me up to make sure I was ready for it. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me make sure that's not going to happen again. I'm so sorry.
That
was the second alarm for the day. So
I sent you a meme quite a while ago. As a idea for this show. I'm an Instagram guy, so I love little things that I see, and people have no idea how many shows have probably been at least inspired by something that I read there or heard or whatever. But I thought this one was pretty interesting because I think, it's a new year and people struggle with all kinds of things, but relationships are one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And this was pretty interesting. It was the 4 stages of a relationship. And it's pretty much from the beginning to, I would say, from the beginning to a good relationship. I wouldn't say the end, because I think that if you have a good relationship, there shouldn't be one. But I thought it was pretty interesting. So I think a lot of the people out there listening are going to know these stages, but I think that we can kind of hit on them. And I think will be, no matter what age you are, these things still happen.
Yes.
They're just the way we're built. So stage 1 is the infatuation stage. It's the honeymoon stage. It says dopamine and oxytocin flood the brain. You feel alive, magnetic, consumed by connection. This stage builds bonding, but it also masks red flags. I like
this stage.
100%.
I don't want to see the red flags.
Well, and it's the best stage generally. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you have these chemicals flooding your brain, it's the greatest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, everything's perfect. Everything is great. They can do no wrong. You know what I mean? It's just, it's the stage of young love, right? And it happens forever, whether you're, 16 or 55, it still happens the same way, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, it is a honeymoon stage because I think we do overlook people's red flags.
Oh yeah.
Because you're seeing the best part of them, right? It's easy to overlook something when everything else is so good.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it like some of my first loves where you're so young and dumb. You just overlook anything that can be bad. It's just
Yeah.
like, no, she's perfect. And then you realize that, somewhere along the way, you're like, oh, well, maybe she's this or maybe she's that. Um, and I think that those are the things that, this stage is great for. And the
Mhm.
good part about this stage is it can be a pretty long period
If you do
if
it
you
right.
right, if you do it right. If you kind of just open yourself up to not looking too deep into someone,
Mhm.
this is a good stage. Um eh, I do think that there's some pitfalls to it. You know, it's really at least for some people, it is easy to get consumed by someone
Mhm.
to the point where you're just like, "Oh, this is the greatest person in the world." Even though some people around you might be going,
Yeah.
you're not the greatest. And look, I think in the end, you you're going to do what you're going to do based on whatever it is for you. So
Mhm.
once, and I think the next stage is when things where that drug in your head starts giving you less drug, right? It's starts going, hey, you know, you're happy all this time, but this one thing bothers you.
Mhm.
And then there's like if you want to go with the angel and devil on your shoulders, you know, the devil is at some point gonna go, hey, this bothers you too much. You need to say something. And look, we've all gone through it. We're all continue to, right? Until we decide either not to be in a relationship anymore or die. There's um but this is a great stage. I think stage 1 is such a springboard for people that
Just makes everything happy. Like music is better, the birds chirping are better. You don't care if there's traffic. Like it
right.
really does make for a happy person for a while.
100% you're willing to travel
Yeah.
insane things to see them for a
Oh,
short period of time.
yeah. I've seen people do that, haven't I?
Yeah. Shit. One time I came to see somebody. I drove, fuck, it was on a weekday. And I drove like 2.5 hours to see
Hmm.
this girl for about 25 minutes.
You've told me that. I think that's cute though.
Yep. We met at a park
Hmm.
and just hung out in the parking lot and bullshitted. It was,
Nice.
yeah. But here's the thing, when that is going through your head, you think, oh, what's the big deal? And with this person, I did it many times because I didn't live
Hmm.
anywhere near them. It was a far drive every single time, with the exception of maybe if I saw them on a weekend when the traffic wasn't bad. But if I drove from where I lived to where they lived during the week, it was 2.5 hours every single time, no matter what.
Hmm.
So, but it was, at the time, I can't tell you that it wasn't worth it. I'd be lying. So,
Well,
you know,
that's the whole point of that first stage is everything's worth it.
you're right. Exactly. Well, yeah, because you,
Everything's
you,
new.
everything's new, but everything
Happy.
is happy. Here's the other thing: when you don't see people all the time, when you have that time, that 25 minutes feels like 2 hours
Hmm.
because you make it. And then the other part is like the drive home is, you think about the goo goo time that you got to have.
So you stay in that dopamine
Yeah.
stage.
So the
Yeah.
dopamine is hitting you on the way home too, because you're like, man, that was great. And what a great time. And man, I can't wait to see him again. And then you get home and you text him again. You're like, oh, it was so good to see you. So yeah, it's that the infatuation stage is amazing.
Hmm.
It's, it's like being punched in the dick. It's like, it hurts, but it's the greatest thing in the world. Stage 2. Now for the fun stage. This is the different. It's the unveiling stage. The nervous system relaxes. Masks come off. Old attachment wounds and survival strategies surface. Conflict begins because truth is showing, not necessarily because love is gone. Many couples break during this stage. Arguments feel threatening. Discomfort is mistaken for incompatibility. But this stage is the gateway to depth if you lean in. Yeah, I think this is the after a couple of months, you've been hanging out and everything is generally good, right, in your relationship. But maybe you're starting to spend more time with people. And I don't mean oh, we go out on a date and we hang out, and I'm talking about days. You spend days with somebody, or they come and sleep over your house, where you start to kind of, your nervous system does relax. You're like, and everyone starts being themselves. And I think, when the masks come off, the cracks in people start showing on both sides.
Well, plus I think that people, they get to a point where they want to show the cracks, and then they just start coming.
Right. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the reality is that all of our lives are in pieces, right? I mean, they just are. And while you're during the honeymoon stage, you're trying to keep those pieces from falling all over the place. And it could be anything. It could be, bills are late, rent's killing you, your ex is, fighting you over the kids, whatever it is. There's so many things that the honeymoon stage and the infatuation kind of mask over, right? Because you're having such a good time that real life kind of disappears. But then you get into this new stage and everyone's shit starts floating to the top.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing people for what and who they are. And I think that like it even says, it's a lot of couples probably do break up during the stage because it becomes difficult.
Well, plus they don't like what they're getting shown either.
Yeah, well, I agree, because I think a lot of people start calling people out during this stage.
And they start acting differently. In the honeymoon phase, you will, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but you'll seldom hear anyone fart. And then right. You go to the next stage and you're like, wow, this guy's got a lot of gas. I've experienced that. That's why I brought it up. I thought it was it was obnoxious. I didn't like it.
I mean, yeah, I do believe that you start becoming a little different. Although I will tell you, the last few people that I've had relations with didn't fart around me at all.
It's normally a guy thing, I would say. The
Matter
guys.
of fact, I questioned how they pooped because they never did it.
They never did it where you knew what was going on.
But purposely, like she would make jokes about it, about not pooping, which is I thought funny as hell. But yeah,
I have issues with that. I will literally I've gone and stayed in a hotel with somebody, and then I will go to the downstairs,
right, the public bathroom.
To go to the bathroom.
I did the exact same thing in a hotel.
That's funny.
Because there was only one bathroom. She was in the shower and I had to go.
Yeah.
And I was like, gotta go. But yeah, I mean, but yes, I think that, you're right. It's probably a dude thing. I get on my son about it all the time with his girlfriend, because he's rank and he's like, we know each other so well. It's and look, they've been seeing each other for a long time. I mean, a lot longer than I actually remembered. It's been years. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I said, look, dude, there has to be some there's got to be some sanctity that you don't do.
Yeah, that's
Like,
something I'd rather not deal with, to be honest with you.
yeah,
I kind of like the whole go to the public bathroom to avoid
even
the.
during my marriage, we were pretty open. Like, if she was in the shower, I'd go shit in there while I was in there.
Oh no.
Yeah. I will tell you now, I probably wouldn't do that ever again. Only, I mean, unless it's like a super emergency. I just think that there is something that keeps the allure, right? Like, we all know we do it, but you don't have to. You don't have to signal. Thankfully, if you're in a place that has 2 bathrooms, you're pretty gold.
Yeah.
But, yeah, during my time of marriage, man, there was 4 people living in a condo. So we did have 2 bathrooms, but they were generally taken.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, there was always somebody in the bathroom.
And I when I was married, my husband at the time refused to be in the bathroom when I was in there. So there was no, he would come in to pee or one time I was like, I can't hold it. Please. I'm sorry. Just don't look,
Mm-hmm.
I did that, but it was one time in like 22 years. We didn't poop in front of each other. We didn't pee in front of each other. We didn't, the farting was at minimal. I remember he got me a couple times. Maybe I got him a couple times. I don't remember because that wasn't it didn't bother me.
Right.
But, yeah, we didn't do that.
I
We'd burp
think
in front of each other or I would burp.
yeah,
I don't
I
really
mean,
think we ever did that either.
burping's a whole other thing. It's like, I don't know. There's some things that I think that are okay, that are funny, that you can get away with. A belch is no big deal to me. Mostly if you've been drinking something or eating something good. That I'm all right with. I think a lot of this stage, when it starts talking about, when it says like old attachment wounds and survival strategies surface.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the biggest part of this stage. You start seeing what old mates have done to people.
Mm-hmm.
And you see how they start putting up walls to protect themselves, even though you might not be doing that to them. They see that it could happen. I've seen this with several women in my life. And it's rough being the person around them because you're just like, but I'm not them. But their survival, shit kicks in and they're like, it doesn't matter. This is how I see it. And it's like, okay. And it's sucky. It's a very hard thing, but I think we all do it. I think men might do it a little differently. But old wounds are rough. And the older you get, the harder it is because you have so many. Right?
Yeah.
And, look, everyone has scars. We all have them. Some of us are lucky and it's not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had someone call me out one time when we were talking about like how bad life was. And they're like, you don't understand because, you haven't been through this kind of stuff. And I went, yeah, you're right. Lucky.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Like I'd rather not have any fucking scars to show somebody. You know what I mean? Like I'm just a lucky guy. I grew up, I had a good upbringing. My parents were divorced, but I still had them both in my life. Like there was a ton of things where I know a lot of people who didn't have that. So it, it's hard for someone who hasn't gone through trauma or that kind of thing to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Well, I
think
think
that's
that's
where
just in
Mhm.
general, like with everybody.
That's what I mean.
You just
So
don't know until you know.
and I don't think that people who both have trauma are good together either, because it's not like, because then you try to out trauma each other. You know what I
You
mean? Like,
think
well,
so?
yeah, I've seen that as well. Oh, 100%. I've seen it with two people where they try to say that, well, you went through this, and then, well, I went through that, and then I went through. It's like, okay, fuck, we've all been through a little something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how about me and you fix us, not try to fix old wounds?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And look, I I totally understand the um I have to heal stage to a degree. Um, Only because I've watched so many things on this for this show. At some point I've listened to podcasts, watched things on YouTube. The I have to heal before I get in a relationship, group, team, which is what it is. And then the team of like doctors and things of people that say that the best healing you can do is in a new relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a little of both. Yes, I think that you have to heal or see your wounds and realize that the person that you're trying to do this with understands that you have wounds and just wants to take care of you. You know what I mean? But you also can't use those wounds as a um as a source of trying to hurt somebody.
No,
And
and you got to remember that the person that you're trying to date now didn't do what the one that you were with before did. And you got to like keep those things separate and work on that yourself and not bring all that to the table. The worst thing for me has been to be put in a position where I was the one that had to deal with somebody else's um bad behaviors in a relationship. Like I couldn't, because they were so traumatized, because the guy that I liked was so traumatized with what he had been through, that there was really no space for me to go with that. Like it, they had to fix themselves before they could be with anyone. And the sad thing is I think that they missed out, because as a mate, I'm a pretty good one. I work to make things work, and whatever they were going through at the time, I was like, wow, well, that wasn't my fault, and now it's going to be to your detriment, because you're going to miss out on somebody that would have worked with you on that, but you're too broken to try that. And I will say I won't. I'll let go. I'll be like, oh, okay. Not that it doesn't hurt me that I didn't get a chance with that person, or that we weren't able to do something. But on the flip side, it's like, I don't want to go through that abuse because I
Mhm.
didn't do it.
Right. I mean, I think that there is a lot to be said about abuse, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that goes with that. Um, and there's so many different kinds of it. I've seen people who've gone through physical abuse. Um,
Yeah, I
and
don't
then
mean that. Just
no, but so there's that, and then
mhm.
also going through incredible mental abuse. Like, and I mean, wow.
But if it's incredible, why in the hell do people stay in that? Get out now. Like, save
I
yourself and quit being a dumbass, because if you want to be a victim, you'll be victimized. Get
right.
out of that shit.
I agree. And look, I think people have their own reasons for staying. So I don't want to try to question either of those. Um, I don't understand it either. So for me,
There's no excuse for letting somebody abuse you to where you're miserable and stuck all the time. There's no excuse for that.
I agree, but
I know you got
here's
to keep your mouth shut, but I don't.
but here's the thing. My problem is this with it. I, I think that earlier things in your life also step into that. So like the way you were raised or the way your parents were around you also end up fucking you up later on. So I've heard through other people that I've been around, their growing up relationship or the way their parents were with each other probably had a huge effect on why they did what they did. And again, like the human psyche is a whole other, without getting super deep, I think there's a lot to be said about just who we are as people.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I've never been abused. So I don't want to like say, hey, like they're stupid because I don't believe that. I just think we all do things for whatever reasons they are. Um, it's how you go forward, I think is the better part.
Mhm.
I see people who have been in really shitty relationships for a long period of time and then get into a relationship and then they just end up with another shitty person. And you wonder like how? Like you know, you continue to just go down this road over and over. But some of those people end up landing with people that work for them at some point. So I think that it is what it is. No one's perfect. And I think, you know, you look at this stage, and this is probably why many people break up. It's like part of this says that, arguments feel threatening. And I think that that's probably the biggest part of this stage, right? Any kind
Mhm.
of argument, people just go, well, I'll just leave or I'll get out or I'll
Or I'm
instead
done.
of instead of you know latching on in and going, look, what are we doing? Because like this one, it even says here, discomfort is mistaken for incompatibility.
Mhm.
And I think that that is also kind of a thing. You just go, if you're in discomfort, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be together. It just means that right now you both don't know how to say what you want to say to each other. But
True.
stage 3. This is the repair and growth stage, or the work stage. It says here you learn uh the skills of love actually require communication without being defensive, repair after conflict, boundaries with respect, nervous system regulation together. This
Mm.
stage rewires old patterns. It's where the relationship stops being reenactments of childhood wounds and starts becoming places of healing. Kind of what I just said. Like sometimes you got to heal while you're actually in a new relationship.
I think that's definitely part of it in every relationship. Like
Mhm.
you kind of get into a groove with the person and you know where your safe is, and it kind of does trigger some healing as opposed to holding the person accountable for something that you went through. It's actually moving past it, and that's a good thing.
Mhm. Well, I mean, you can go with the first one, communication without defensiveness, right?
Mm.
That's, I think, part of the biggest thing with rebuilding, or, trying to repair something that is going down a different road is, yeah, you have to listen. And you have to um not throw things out that you're not talking about. I'll give you an example. I was just listening to somebody tell me they were having a problem with their girlfriend. They're talking about the issue. And at that time, the girlfriend goes, yeah, but you do this. That had nothing to do with the conversation that they were talking about.
Mhm.
And his thing was, okay, that's great, but can we finish this part first? And then you can talk about what is bothering you. Don't deflect the conversation with, another thing that you don't like, you know.
My ex used to say that men think very linear, and he put his hand out straight. Like, you could tell they're going down the same road, doing the same thing, they're thinking the same way. Everything is straight. And women, when they communicate, it's all about feelings, and feelings take twists and turns and go up hills and come down sides of mountains and go all through life. Nothing about what they're thinking is straight. So he said at times he felt like he just had to stand there and take it all, but he had no idea of where it even started or what the hell was going on. Like, he was just like, how did we get here? Like, I don't even know what the problem is to help or to fix or to work on. And that for him was so frustrating. And I think for men in general, it's so frustrating because they are fix-it people, but they can't. They just can't fix that. When a woman's going crazy in her head, there's no fixing that. And so he would just we didn't have a lot of that, thankfully, but he would just go really still and let whatever I was doing go ape shit. But ultimately that didn't really help. It didn't help either of us. It didn't help him because he didn't know how to fix something, and men are fixers. And at the same time, I wasn't getting my point across effectively to be able to fix what I needed to fix or what we needed to fix to make me not so crazy. So I kind of feel bad for men that they go through that because it's not it's not easy to deal with women like that. And
Agree.
I would definitely say I did that to him at times. Not often, but we went through it. And then it ended up being what's really the problem. If you find somebody that'll walk the crazy with you and you find out what the problem is, you could fix that. But you have to be willing to be vulnerable enough to say what the problem really is.
Right. Yeah. And like the second part of the stage is repair after conflict.
Yeah.
Look, fights are part
Mm,
of life, right?
they're necessary.
I didn't do it enough in my marriage. That's probably why I got divorced. I
Mm,
rarely fought with her. I just went, yeah, whatever. Which, looking back, was probably the worst thing ever,
yeah.
right? Because I probably held a lot of shit in that bothered me, but you know, and I was just like, and I hate to say that I didn't care, but at the time, it was like I realize now, women, where you guys are so much different than men, where and I mean that like in the utmost respect. We're just different. It was like she wanted to paint my living room. She's like, I want to paint it green. And I was like, okay, whatever. She's like, well, what green do you like? I don't care. Instead of just pointing at a green and going, I like this one, because it wouldn't have mattered. She had to pick the green she wanted anyway. She just wanted me to be involved.
Right.
So, and I think that that is like a big deal. You need to be involved. So like the repair after any conflict, I think is like super important where but you have to go into that repair stage of not holding it against somebody.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to hold shit against somebody, it doesn't matter what you do. You're never going to repair anything.
And that's not fair to the person because really nobody is perfect. And not only that, but the perception is different from person to person also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's a absolute. Um, Here's the kind of a thing that the third one is very interesting. And I think this is the hardest part of a repair stage is the boundaries with respect.
Yes.
Whatever your boundaries are, um, everyone has to be on the same page of whatever these boundaries are. If you're not, then it doesn't matter what you say to each other. And I don't even want to go down the road of what boundaries we're talking about because it could be anything. Um, I just think that boundaries need to be set and told. And
Mm-hmm.
at that point, you're going to go back to stage 2 and realize that you don't want to be with this person.
Yeah.
Or you're going to realize the boundaries are worth the love, because whatever it is that you think, isn't being done for you, or isn't going to work, you're going to realize that being with the person is much more important.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the only example I'll give a man example. Probably not our generation as much, but some for sure. Like coming home and playing video games every day. At some point, someone, if your girlfriend or wife comes to you and goes, look, like, I would prefer that you don't do that every single day. What's it worth? You have to, I mean, to me, that's kind of a boundary of like, hey, and I think it's no different than going, look, I don't want you going out with the girls fucking 4 times a month. Like, come on. Like what? Because now I think you're just deflecting your relationship and holding on to something that's not real by, doing whatever it is you do. So those boundaries do have to be respected if you're going to repair.
Yeah. I don't I don't I didn't ever notice how many times a week I did things with my girlfriends. My ex did not care. He didn't have a problem with it, but I didn't I didn't tell him he couldn't be a part of it. He just didn't want to do the stuff we were doing, so I think I got off easy on that one.
Right.
But I did spend a lot of time with my friends because I have a lot of hobbies and different things that I do. But when it came, when he came home, I made sure that I was around,
Mm-hmm.
So that part I don't think really interfered with our relationship all that much. Or even like after he'd go to bed, my next door neighbor would come over almost nightly, and he knew it and he was okay with that too. He's like, I'm going to bed. You guys do what you're going to do. And he used to hear us laughing in the middle of the night. And he said he'd wake up, but he said it was such a happy thing to hear us laughing. He would just go back to sleep. It didn't bother them. I guess he was just happy I was home.
Right. Look, I can understand, like, that's different though. I think if like your friend coming over at night's a whole other thing. That's like, okay, cool. If I'm going to bed, cool. Just be respectful of, look,
How
I got to
loud
work in
we
the
were,
morning.
which we were
Yeah.
not.
So, but I think that like you have to, like, I don't think your whole life has to be a relationship. I don't want to say it that way. Everyone needs hobbies. Everyone needs their own shit, and everyone needs to do their own thing.
For sure.
I think within reason, though, I think that if you're going to be a couple, you need to do things together, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are part of,
Definitely.
that is part of, and I guess my biggest thing too is that if you can't do things together without other people, you probably shouldn't be together anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
there's just something to be said to that. And then nervous system regulation together. I think, your nervous system we are a walking wreck a lot of the time. If you do have to rewire old patterns. You have to try to change what was bad in the last thing. So you don't bring it to the new thing.
Yeah.
So, but you can do that during the stage of being together, of going to somebody and going, look, this is how I am, help me not be that way. Like, and then being bold enough to go, okay, how can I fix that? And then coming together.
You know what I learned? That a man cannot do that if he's feeling judged. Probably a woman can't either. So it's like when you're saying this is my flaw, you have to be really vulnerable to be able to say that, to speak up about it.
Yep.
But then you have to be with someone who could receive that and hold that as something that they're not going to pick on and
Weaponize.
abuse and use against you. And it's not like the person telling you is telling you that so that you could pick at their wounds.
Mm-hmm.
They're telling you that so that you know that you need to have grace with them and be kind with them, because it is something that they realize they do and that they're trying to change. But how hard is it to change who you are and what you've always done? It's extreme.
Extremely.
So I would always say, like, once I figured out that I couldn't be judgmental, then things started to get fixed. But before that, because I remember I did, especially in one situation, I did use what he said against me or against him. But it ended up going against me too, because then he didn't trust me to want to talk. And then he didn't want to work on the thing that he was. And then he wouldn't discuss it like, it got worse. The not dealing with it became a problem. And then it took way longer than it needed to get fixed. And then I realized what I was doing wrong and tried to fix it then. But by that time, we had a lot worse to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
It sucked.
Yeah, I think with most people, once you use something as a weapon against them, they'll never talk to you ever again about it.
Mm-mm.
I think men mostly, but I think people in general won't do that. But I think because, like, I hear all these women that are like, oh, I wish men would just open up a little bit and blah, blah, blah. But when we open up, you use it against us. We'll never talk to you about something like that ever again. We'll just go.
They will only talk about it if you are a safe place to land with.
Yeah. I've seen guys where, like, I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube where, like, a guy will be like excited about something and his wife will be like, whatever. And then the next time you see him, she's like, oh, hey, what's going on? He's like, nothing.
Yeah.
And it ends right there. It's like, okay, I'm not going to do that ever again. So it's like, I get it. It's definitely a very hard thing. The rewiring of your own brain is, you have to be with someone who makes you feel so secure and safe that they're actually helping rewire your brain.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. If you don't, it doesn't matter. You'll never get to a stage where you feel okay. You're always going to be combatant or
defensive.
Be the same. Yeah. Or be the same person you've always been. And, how did that work out?
The last time. The time before.
Right. That's just reality. Yeah. Stage 4. This is the secure love stage, the harmony stage. This is where it says, here, repair becomes natural. Safety replaces anxiety. Intimacy deepens because trust has been built through rupture and repair. Harmony doesn't mean no conflict. It means conflict is no longer a threat to the bond. Disagreements can be navigated without fear of collapse.
That's a good stage to be in, actually.
Yeah, this is the stage that I think you finally understand that the person you're with doesn't want to hurt you, right? They want to be in a relationship with you, and they're not afraid to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I love to go, I love to go to the Notebook, because I think that there's a part in the Notebook that's when they're arguing with each other at the end. And the best thing he says to her is, he goes, I'm not afraid to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not going to hurt her. And then he goes, because you have a rebound of like 3 seconds. Like, it doesn't, we have to be able to tell somebody, like, hey, this is not good right now. Mm-hmm. So you can both step back for a second and go, I'm not a runner. I wouldn't run out of the house and get my car and drive down the street. That's just not who I am. But I am a step outsider. Like, I need to just get a breath. I need to think about something for a second. But I'm also not asleep on the coucher. Mm-hmm. My ex tried doing that to me. I giggled at her right to her face. I was like, no. She was like, what do you mean no? No, like, that's my bed too. You want to go sleep somewhere else, more power to you. I'm not. I'm sleeping right here. And I did for the 30 days she stayed before she left. Every night.
Mm.
I wasn't
That
gonna
had to have been uncomfortable,
um uh,
but maybe not as uncomfortable as sleeping on the couch.
there were times it wasn't the greatest, to be fair, but
Mhm.
I think also it was just the reality of like it's not like anything happened. We just slept.
Mhm.
I think that there were probably a few nights where we probably just discussed life and whatever, but look, at the end of the day, it's like people who tell their mate to go to another room to sleep because they're angry, you're just teaching them a lesson. They're no
And
different
what's
than
the
a
lesson?
that it's okay to run. Go to the other
Mm.
room. Bad dog. Like, no, not how life works. Look, you don't have to be intimate. And I think that there's something about going to bed and going, look, we'll fix this in the morning. But if you're pushing each other away, that's all you're ever going to do, ever. Like, why would you go down that road? It's like, I don't want to do that. Look, you can come here. I'll put my arm around you. I still love you to death, and we're going to fix this. And again, and I'm talking about arguments, not life changing, life altering. You cheated on me. Like,
Mhm.
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about whatever, you know, little tiff you're in. If you think going to sleep on the couch is going to fix it, it's just going to teach me to go, nah, fuck off.
Well, it's gonna make the barrier between the two of you a lot more secure and a lot bigger and a lot
Yeah.
it's gonna start growing
You want to build
because
a
you're pushing a
wall.
person away. Yeah.
I mean, all you're doing is laying bricks. And then
Mhm.
sooner or later, one of the persons on either side of that are just going to walk away.
Mhm.
It's like, I don't want that.
Well, because they learn to walk away.
Yeah, you're teaching
You
them.
teach them to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, go to the other room. It's like being a bad dog and go to your place. Go to your place. It's like,
Mhm.
this is my place. This is our place. If in look, and this is something that you're supposed to be doing during the stage of the relationship of trying to fix things, and it's supposed to be harmonious. So, um, safety replaces anxiety. I think that that's one of the bigger things. It's like even in like all relationships are going to have their ups and downs, all of them. Everyone's going to be on a roller coaster. I just don't want to always be at the top, you know, flying down to the bottom.
Mhm.
I want some graceful little hills, but you always have to feel safe in the relationship. There should anytime that you're pulling up to your house and you park your car and you stay there for 5 minutes and go, because you have to go inside, you're done. That's anxiety. That's what's going to happen when I walk in the door.
Mhm.
Nope. I never want to be in that. Ever, ever, never, ever. I don't want to ever have to go, man, I wonder what's going to happen today. What kind of shit are we going to do? No, I don't want that.
I
I,
used to do that almost daily. I would sit in my car for 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, depending on how long, until I was calm enough to go inside from whatever was going on during the day. Because I was trying not to bring it in. Lo and behold, I still brought it in, but taking that time to decompress or to change gears from one life to another, from work life to being a mom and a wife life, that that time I took to just kind of leave one part of it and then go to the next part, and that I felt was really helpful. But if you go home and you're dreading walking in, that sucks.
exactly. I think there is something about decompressing. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
and we've talked about it before. I think we did one on traditional wives where, you know, part of that was like, greet your person at the door. And I
Mhm.
think we talked about like, not everyone wants to be like hammered at like, I just think that there should be some kind of, hey, welcome home.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to decompress after that, more power to you. And I think that some people do, because some people have stressful ass jobs. Um,
Yeah.
Part of it too is like, I think as a human being is not bringing your work home with you. And
No,
that takes,
that's not easy to do.
it's 100% it's not. I did it for a long time and then decided not to. And then once I decided not to, I haven't done it since, and I won't anymore. It's not worth it.
No,
Um,
it's not.
let's see. Intimacy deepens because trust has been built through rupture and repair. I agree with that. I think, and I think whatever your definition of intimacy is, I think I have several of them. Um, Intimacy can be, you know, a nice dinner outside, followed by sitting on a couch, you know, listening to music. Like everything doesn't have to be sexual. I think that, there too many people use sex as the only form of intimacy. And once that's all you have, good luck, because
Mm-hmm.
that's not going to be a good thing. It never works when it becomes the only thing in someone's relationship. Then someone just feels like a toy and not human.
Yeah.
I'd rather have it all, but I would also rather have dinner, listen to music, and dance in the kitchen, because that's what you're going to be doing when you're 75, right? Those are the things that keep relationships going and are way more real than, oh, we have great sex all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This It's not reality. It's just not. Um, let's see. Harmony doesn't mean no conflict. I think that is
Oh,
pretty self-explanatory, right?
yeah.
There's always going to be conflict over something, whether it's I'll do the man one. I say I'm going to do something, and when you get home, it's not done.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Or I want to watch this on TV, not that.
correct. That's it. Like there's going to be some kind of, you know, you have to be able to, in this modern era, everything has to be some kind of, yin and yang. There has to
Mm-hmm.
be give and take. You can't you can't always do what you want in a relationship.
Yeah.
That's not reality. It's, like, right. For me, it's hard because not been in a relationship in so long. Like we've talked about it on here before. Like it's going to be hard for me because I can just do whatever the fuck I want. No
Well,
one,
it's not going to be hard when you find somebody you don't mind.
exactly. I think that's it. Like there's been times where, you know, I watch hockey whenever I want.
Yeah.
I've been places where I was with somebody that I didn't watch hockey at all during the season. It's like, all right,
Mm.
I don't have to be doing that. I enjoy it. Would I like someone with me that enjoys hockey too? Absolutely. But it doesn't have to be the only thing. Time and presence are way more than missing a 3-hour game that doesn't really affect your life.
Yeah.
I think that those are the bigger things. Sure. Should you have things that you like to do together? Sure. I watched a football game with somebody not too long ago, and it was awesome. They like football. I like football. It was a college game. We yeehawed, had a couple of drinks. It was great. It was a fun time.
Mm.
Um, so like to me, it was that made the time and presence better. But did we have to be doing that? No. We just happened to do it. It just happened to be on in the background. And then we both got into it and it was fun. But it wasn't like that was what we set out to do. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's the bigger thing is, you know, if you're going to have conflict, if it's like, I want to watch the game, but your mate's like, I would rather go do things with my friends. You have to sit there and go, okay, how can we make this work for everybody? And sometimes neither of the things are going to happen because you want to have harmony in the house. I don't
Mhm.
need to watch the game. You don't need to go see your friends. We can spend time together. Let's go, to the beach. Let's spend time together. Let's go have brunch, walk on the beach, and do our own thing. Sometimes you have to do it. My best friend, I haven't seen my best friend in a while. I'd say at least a year. And he lives an hour away.
Fix that.
Yeah. I mean, I will. He also travels a lot. But to be fair, like he's married and he has a mate and they do things together. And look, that's good. He got married very late in life.
Mhm.
So, I've already been down that road. He's not going to have children. So he doesn't have to worry about it. So he's having a good time and I respect that. And I do need to go see him more. But he's a busy man. So I talk to him immensely and look, they have a good time. And to me, that's important. Time with someone that you enjoy time with, it you know, it goes very quickly. So
Mhm.
um, you have to enjoy that kind of thing. Let's see. Conflict is no longer a threat to the bond. Yes, if every time that you are in a conflict with somebody and your thing is I'm just going to leave, just leave. That shouldn't be your first parachute. And I think a lot of people look at it like that now, you know. And if you are, there's a bigger problem. Like um and then disagreements can be navigated without fear of collapse. That's kind of the same thing. I think that you're you shouldn't always run to the hills, right? Like I think if you're in a pretty solid relationship, you should understand that conflict can be fixed. And like I'm saying, the conflict, small things, not life altering changes of this is like throwing cheating out.
Mhm.
I think that's a very difficult one to get past, regardless of who you are. I think once you go down the cheating road, eh,
It's
it's
not easy to pull
it's
that out.
I I I know I couldn't. That's just how I'm built. I don't share well. I've told people that before. Like I just don't share well and I couldn't go down that road. But
Mhm.
if you cheated on me, you might as well just keep going because I'm never going to look at you the exact same way ever again.
I
So,
get that.
and
Guys technically are like that. They're more like once you've cheated on me, I'm done.
mhm.
Where women will take it more, but damn, then trying to deal with them is not easy.
No, well, here's the thing. Once you break trust, it's hard to go back. And I mean,
Mhm.
whatever kind of trust that is, and it could be cheating. Cheating is obviously the easy one. Or like money, like taking money and not telling, that's trustworthy. That's keeping your
Mhm.
trust. It's like uh, you have to be able to have that in a solid relationship. And with trust comes harmony. This is what makes the best relationships the best is that you trust them with everything. You trust me with your life.
Mhm.
And that's protection or driving or not doing anything stupid at work and fucking these up or whatever. All that is all trustworthy stuff. Is I'm going to do the best to make sure our relationship is the best. And that doesn't even mean like financially. It doesn't have to be that. Like I'm over that kind of shit too because I've watched too many red pills on YouTube with these girls that are just like I want a provider and a protector. Like, well, what does that mean? Like, or we'll have to do another show on dating. I've heard some stuff. It's absurd. It's
Let's
absurd.
do it.
We will. Um, so here you go. It says research in attachment theory shows couples who master repair are more likely to last long term than couples who fight less often. Which is again what I told you before because I didn't fight. Lasting love is not found in the honeymoon stage. Obviously, I think that's pretty obvious with our dopamine and oxytocin flipping the fuck out.
Mhm.
It's created when two people do the work to move through every stage together. I think that any couple out there can take these 4 stages and see where you're at, right?
Mm.
Um, and use this as a guide to finding how you can keep your relationship together if it's not past the doom stage. Like there is doom and gloom in here somewhere, and usually stage 2, right? Where the differences start. That's when your doom is you're either going to make the turn onto the highway to make the relationship work because you have what it takes. You have connection and chemistry and moral ground and all these things. But you're going through a rough patch. So you decide to, I'm going to make this work. Or you're going to turn left onto another highway and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But sometime during your relationship with somebody, these stages have to work.
Absolutely. They're
So
going to work.
yeah,
They're going to manifest in some way, shape, or form.
yeah, you're either going to make it to stage 4 or you're going to turn it stage 2 every time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a stage 2 turner, you're probably just afraid to go down a road and you haven't realized it. That fighting for something is probably better.
Yes.
Any last words on these stages of a relationship there, Miss Tina?
I would say that when you're in a relationship, you should try to put your best foot forward every time. And I don't think that they teach us that. They teach us that, oh, well, if they do this, get out. If they do that, get out. But they don't say, if you love this person, you stay and you find a way to clear the slate, not just throw some dirt on it, but you want to get to a place where you're not triggered by whatever it is that you're having a problem with. And you got to remember that that's your person. This is who you choose to love. This is who you choose to be with. And when you love somebody and you choose them, do the right thing by them. That's what I would say.
I would agree with that. The only thing I would say is this is at some point in your relationship, you need to either get on the boat or get off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's other people waiting.
Absolutely.
And here's the other thing. Your past is not your future. Period. People in
and the
your
person
past.
standing there is not the one that put all the hurt in your heart.
Absolutely.
They're the ones that are trying to mend and build from there.
Yeah. Some people actually want to help you, and some people just want to use you. And unfortunately, the people in your past generally have been the ones who've used you, and it's hard to find the grace to get past that. And if you do and you find somebody, rope them up. I think that there's something to that. Like I said, I've had 2 friends that I've had some kind of relations with that have found mates and are married now. Good for them. That means you've gone through the hurting of whatever happened in your past and started something fresh. Look, you can find us on pretty much any podcasting thing. We get listens all over. We had a really good year, Miss Tina.
Awesome.
We're like 250 downloads away from 10,000.
Stop it.
So thank you everyone out there. Yeah, pretty wild. Pretty wild. There's been over 5,000 people listen to this show, at least through the analytics that I can see. There's probably more because I've had people say that they've listened to the show and I don't get the analytics, but yeah. So thanks a lot. You can keep listening. I've been better about updating the social medias when the new show comes out. So you'll probably see more of that in the future. And yeah, it's an opinion show. Don't get it twisted. Keep coming back every Wednesday. I'm Rob. That's Tina. We'll see you in a week. Bye.
See ya.
This is